not going to show it to you because it's full of deceptive editing and taking statements out of context and is clearly designed to tout his administration's response and rewrite history of it.
Dr. Fauci made the mistake over the weekend of doing an interview on CNN, so at Monday's press briefing, he had to come up to the podium to clarify the fake news that they were spreading because of it. In hindsight, CNN is literally attacking the president for not shutting the entire country down when there were 0 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the United States. Had you shut the entire country down on New Year's Day, Mr. President, all of this could have been avoided. Let's not forget when the president first banned travel from Chinese nationalists into the United States back in January, he was called xenophobic by the Democrats.
This is all documented because we have so much fake news. I like to document things. On January 11th, we have 0 cases in the United States. 0. We don't have any cases. So there are no cases reported that we know of. This is January 11th. The CDC issued a level 1 travel notice for health, while there was still no confirmed cases. So we had 0 cases. People want me to act. I'm supposed to close down the economy, the greatest economy in the history of the world, and we don't have 1 case confirmed in the United States. That's January 11th. On January 17th, the CDC began implementing public health entry screenings at 3 major U.S. airports that received the greatest volume of passengers from Wuhan at my instructions. There was not a single case of the coronavirus in the United States. So on January 17th, there wasn't a case, and the fake news is saying, oh, he didn't act fast enough. Well, you remember what happened. Because when I did act, I was criticized by Nancy Pelosi, by Sleepy Joe Biden. I was criticized by everybody. In fact, I was called xenophobic. On January 21st, okay, still early, there was 1 case of the virus. At that time, we called it the Wuhan virus, right? Wuhan. There was 1 case in the whole United States. We had 1 case. This is all documented. 1 case in the whole United States. 1 case. I'm supposed to shut down the government, the biggest economy in the history of the world. Shut it down. We have 1 case. January 31st, not 1 person has died, and I issued a travel restriction from China. Think of it. So nobody died, and I issued. You can't get earlier than that. So we have nobody died, and I said, China, you can't come in. I'm sorry, because I saw what was going on. So I issued travel restrictions on that date, even though nobody died, and I got brutalized over it by the press because I was way too early. I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, he still seems to prefer these small fights with the press instead of focusing on the virus. And that anti-media propaganda video is an example. He started this briefing with that anti-media propaganda video, which is nothing short of disgraceful.
As you know, I like to put together montages of the mainstream media to illustrate how ridiculous they are by just showing you what they say in their own words. But President Trump decided to put one together himself and play it at the beginning of Monday's coronavirus daily press briefing.
Please, you could put it on. Thank you.
People should be more concerned right now with the flu in this country.
A lot of people are concerned about the coronavirus because they're hearing a lot of news about it right now. But the reality is, comparing it to the flu, for example, it's not even close to being at that stage.
What if it is worse? Is this a moment where maybe countries put politics aside, a little bit of pride aside, and do we have U.S. officials? Should U.S. professionals such as yourself get involved?
How worried should Americans be about coronavirus?
Coronavirus is not going to cause a major issue in the United States.
Well, we've asked them to accelerate whatever they're doing in terms of a vaccine. We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency. Medicare patients can now visit any doctor by phone or video conference at no additional cost.
The first 1 million masks will be available immediately.
As there were more cases, and it was clear that it was spreading out of China, where it originated, The president took this move that he was widely criticized for by Democrats and even some Republicans at the time, which was he halted a number of flights from China into the U.S. The idea was to halt the spread of the disease, keep transmissions to a minimum. He was accused of xenophobia. He was accused of making a racist move. At the end of the day, it was probably effective because it did actually take a pretty aggressive measure against the spread of the virus.
His team is on it. They've been responsive late at night, early in the morning, and they've thus far been doing everything that they can do, and I want to say thank you, and I want to say that I appreciate it.
He returns calls. He reaches out. He's been proactive. We got that Mercy ship down here in Los Angeles. That was directly because he sent it down here. 2,000 medical units came to the state of California, these FMS, these field medical stations, and that's been very, very helpful.
The president has been outstanding through all this. The vice president's been outstanding. Members of the coronavirus task force, very responsive.
We had asked if we could have, New Jersey could have access to a piece of the beds that are on the USNS Comfort, and the president came back, called me a short few minutes before I walked in here to say indeed they would grant that to New Jersey. So that's a big step for us in addition to all the other capacity. That news is literally hot off the press, and I thank the president and vice president who are on the call together.
President Trump approved Arizona's request for a presidential major disaster declaration. I want to thank the president for a quick turnaround. We requested this on a Wednesday, and we had approval by Saturday morning. And we are grateful to the administration for their continued support and responsiveness.
So we could give you hundreds of clips like that from governors, including Democratic, or Democrat as I call them, governors, which is actually the correct term. We could give you hundreds of clips just like that. We have them. We didn't want this to go on too long, but I just want to say...
Look at this poor guy sitting in the front row. He just can't believe that the president just made them eat their own words. Halfway through the video, both CNN and MSNBC dropped the feed to immediately start complaining about it. Of course, they couldn't wait till the press conference was over. They literally dropped the feed halfway through President Trump's montage.
We are going to avoid airing any more of this White House briefing. What we just saw, I want to be very clear with viewers, was a video the White House put out which suggests they are spending their precious time right now making videos that defend the president's record and tenure rather than...
There's plenty more to come in this video, so stay tuned, but real quick, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because if this is your first time watching one of my videos, it's obvious this is the coolest channel on all of YouTube, and you'll want to check back here on a regular basis. Later, when the clips they didn't want their audience to see were done playing, CNN did return to the press briefing, only to go completely insane with the chyrons, or the lower thirds, the captions down on the bottom of the screen. Angry Trump turns press briefing into propaganda session. Trump uses task force briefing to try and rewrite history on coronavirus response. Trump melts down in angry response to reports he ignored virus warnings. Angry Trump uses propaganda video produced by government employees at taxpayers' expense. Orange Man bad. Okay, that one's fake, but the other ones are real. Of course, after the press conference was over, they didn't feel any better.
Yeah, Anderson, we had a feeling when we came in here and we saw the video screens being set up, and then the president said he had a video for us to watch. He smirked while standing over to the side looking at reporters as that video was playing.
To play a propaganda video at taxpayer expense in the White House briefing room is a new, you can insert your favorite word here, in this administration. There are ways to do things, and then there's that. That's just plain out propaganda.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, that is the biggest meltdown I have ever seen from a president of the United States in my career. I don't think a reasonable person could watch what we just saw.
And it's actually difficult to clarify or assess or synopsize what happened during today's White House briefing.
I'm so tired of winning, I've decided to have a sale at markdice.com where you can get free shipping on any of my t-shirts in the US by using the promo code WINNING at the checkout. So now might be a good time to get yourself a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt, an I Love Global Warming shirt, contains facts and opinions that some may find offensive shirt, or any of my awesome designs. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below, enter the promo code WINNING at the checkout, and check them out!